is the first try at the American Withdrawn. Catherine Moldenhauer. I'm from Wisconsin. There are other Catherine Moldenhauers, and they have the same birth father's name as I, but it's actually a different man, and so it's way more sci-fi than that. It's just a name, and so who knows how long someone will carry it. But for now, it was my birth name, and so we'll use it. So the American Withdrawn. I guess I thought of the idea because I had watched The Black Ponder, and then he does this. It's almost like a comedy skit, and he explains the Thinker by Auguste Rodin. I've actually seen it. I had no idea what it alluded to as far as Euro history and what until I watched his stuff. So I'm also going to try working on gesture and see if I can say something important in response. This has been big for me the past few years. Is reciprocality. People do something for you. Try to find out how you make a fair trade. So Harriet Jacobs, I don't know anything about her autobiographically. I know on first listening that they're using a vernacular of English that does have to do with what people have termed the mental, and so I don't really know what that is necessarily. I mean, I've started an introductory chapter in Morrison and Boyd, which is a introductory chemistry textbook where they isolate, within chemical compositions what the mental is. But I feel that it does have, more of a women's history than that, and that it became something later that they were able to systematize, to kind of do opposite of maybe what these women were trying to do. But let's just say that it was a term for like a esotericism or spiritualism, and didn't necessarily carry the types of derogatory thoughts that we think of not. Other people will say that those were always truths, and especially if you get into people having to understand that they didn't want something to happen. But we'll not go into it. For the point of this, we'll say that mental has kind of a polysemics that's very ambiguous. It could be about turn of the century esotericism and spiritualism, or it could be about ideas of justifiable low-income enslavement. But anyway, Harriet Jacobs, I think when we talk about ideas of withdrawn, I think so much of women, why she's important is so much of women's lives are, and I think she's a woman's author in its translation here, because I think she's using a vernacular that transcends, I think she really is trying to create something, I wouldn't say eternal necessarily, but I think she is trying to create something timeless. So we'll say that. I think that it's that translation, But I mean, then that way too, create something somewhat untrustworthy, because you have a name. Did she designate that name? Is that someone? Where did she get her name? Was she born Harriet Jacobs, or was she an emigre? Where did she learn to understand what had happened to her? Was that something she could go to a public library, or was she someone from a more prestigious foreign country. But for now, because of the translation and the English used, we're going to talk about it as a woman's issue, because I think Harriet Jacobs does say something about our definition of woman. What is woman?